So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been sacked from Manchester United, and obviously talk has immediately turned to who's going to replace him. And there's quite a few candidates, and this is what this video is mainly going to be about. I'm going to start with like a bit of a eulogy on sort of Solskjaer's time at United. So I actually think that he did at first bring some camaraderie to the team. I do think he was only really employed, like obviously Solskjaer's took over as an interim manager. He was only really employed because of the initial 3 months that he had, and then I think the board felt quite obligated to get Solskjaer a permanent contract. And I think that's mostly to do with Solskjaer's previous standing at the club. I don't necessarily think that would have been the case with another manager, because he went on a massive losing run after that initial 3 month streak. And then obviously the second season we did finish quite well. We finished second, and you know he did okay last year, but ultimately some of the signings that he's made and the way he's tried to shoehorn certain players into the team, I do think that's what's cost him his job. Like, don't get me wrong, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the biggest problem at Manchester United. The board is the biggest problem, and I think the players are a bit of a problem as well. There's too many egos there's too many mavericks, there's too many people that don't want to play for the team. But part of that is Solskjaer's fault because it is his selection of players. Like, for example, this year, us not getting a centre midfielder was fatal to his role at the club. Us not signing a Saul from Atletico Madrid or Camavinga, and then there's that other guy I think we're looking into from Monaco. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but we are looking into another defensive midfielder now. So that was a fatal error. And obviously continuing to play Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof together last season when we had Eric Bailly just sort of sitting on the bench. He's always had the ability to play alongside one of them. Like, I'm not saying he's a long-term solution. I think anyone worth their salt knows that he's not because of the injury record. But to not even try Eric Bailly with one of those two other centre-backs, I think was a big problem. Because that meant that we had Lindelof and Maguire. Neither of them are quick centre-backs. And he also made Maguire captain after only just signing him. And I think that's been a bit of a mistake as well, because I don't think Maguire's a leader. I don't think he is. And then you've also got, you know, the mistakes that he's made with certain other players, bringing Cavani in straight away last season after Anthony Martial had a brilliant season as the number 9. Brings Cavani straight in, ditches Martial. You know, his overplaying Rashford last year to the point where Rashford was injured. He was still trying to play him. We had Daniel James on the bench. He was still trying to play Rashford. You know, that the sort of misuse of certain players like Donny van der Beek is one of the most fatal ones as well. Sticking Fred and McTominay in the centre midfield when you've got Donny van der Beek on the bench, playing Paul Pogba, whether his form is good or not, that's also another fatal error. So he has, whilst I never wanted Solskjaer to fail, I wanted him to do well. At the end of the day, I was alive when he scored the winner for us on that fateful night in 1999. I was there. I was watching. And so I wanted Solskjaer to succeed, but it became clear a long time ago that he wasn't going to. And ultimately, this year, he signed Cristiano Ronaldo. And at the end of the day, we're still losing to shit teams over and over again. So now you turn around and say, well, the board can just turn around and say, we've given you Ronaldo, where are your results? And that's the way that it really is. So whilst I never agreed with the Ronaldo signing, I think I do agree with this decision to sack Solskjaer. Now I want to talk about who's going to replace him. So obviously I've put Zidane and RODGERS as sort of the frontline candidates because I think those are the two most available to us at the moment. But I'm also hearing things about certain other managers. We're supposed to be, you know, putting an interim coach in charge until the end of the season, which again I don't think is a very good idea. Because if the interim coach does well, they're going to, you know, feel some kind of obligation again to put him in charge permanently. And I think we shouldn't be making impulsive decisions like that. You've got Pochettino, but we're waiting for him. We're essentially waiting for him to fail at PSG. So I don't think that's a good plan. There's some rumours about Ten Hag, who manages Ajax. I would love him to be our coach, but I don't think he's going to leave. I think the loyalty is with Ajax, to be totally honest. There's also been talk about Luis Enrique. I would actually really like us to go with Luis Enrique, and the reason why is because he plays a formation that I think would work brilliantly for us at the moment with the players we've got. He'd stick us in a 4-3-3, and he'd probably be playing Van der Beek and Bruno, with a sort of holding midfielder behind that. Pogba wouldn't get in that team, and obviously he'd have a very effective front three as well. So I would love to see Luis Enrique, but he's already confirmed he's not going to be leaving Spain until the Qatar World Cup, which is obviously in the winter 2022. So that's not an option for us because we have to appoint someone next summer so that they've got enough time to have a pre-season and make some transfers. So there's no way it's going to be Luis Enrique. So I think that leaves us with Zidane, who is obviously without a job. I've heard Laurent Blanc mentioned, but I don't think it's going to happen just because he managed a very talented PSG team and didn't really do anything with it. So I don't really see Laurent Blanc getting the job. But Brendan Rodgers is sort of the other candidate, really. I must say, out of the two, I prefer Rodgers. And the reason why that is because he's Premier League proven. Zidane, whilst he won 3 Champions Leagues with Real Madrid, he had some of the very best players in the world. He's not proven that he can do anything without having that. And I do think that a lot of that was down to his aura and the players that he had, rather than the actual coach. And I think we need a good coach. We need someone to organise our back four and get us playing fluid football. Whereas Zidane's not going to do that. He's just going to make people feel good for a while because it's Zinedine Zidane. But Brendan Rodgers, whilst he's not perfect, and he was the manager of Liverpool, so there's always going to be that, but I actually think that Brendan Rodgers can bring certain things to the table. Like, I think he will organise our back line. I think he is going to sign the right players. He is going to try and make us play as a team. He's not going to rely on individual talent necessarily. And he is going to make us press high up the pitch. And he's going to want fast defenders, a fast back line. Because I want to see Eric Bailly and Raphael Varane play together. I want to see that. And I do think Rodgers will also select a suitable captain, someone that is going to lead us, a strong character. I do think he'll do that because he made Jordan Henderson sort of the vice captain of Liverpool, and that's how Henderson ended up getting the captaincy, and it was all due to Rodgers. So I do think he's a decent man manager, and he's good tactically as well. So I think Rodgers is the best of the choices that we have available to us. So I think it should be Brendan Rodgers, and I feel like I've explained why. If you guys have any different opinions, please leave that in the comment section. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel as always. As I've been saying for a while now, my Patreon link is in the bottom of the channel in the description. So please join that if you want to as well. And I will see you on the next video.